I'll start with you. One thing that did buck this downtrend today was gold, which is up again.
Yeah, gold's having a big move. We broke out a couple weeks ago, maybe 6 weeks ago at $1,400, and I think we're on our way to $1,700. But the world looks like a mess. You've got lower yields, that makes gold look more attractive. You've got geopolitics. You've got what's going on in India, which looks like it might be a side effect, an unintended consequence of the U.S. withdrawing troops from Afghanistan. And my sense is that when the Chinese officials call the protesters in Hong Kong terrorists, it means that their patience is running out. And so I think we're going to see something come to a climax is around the corner, all helping gold.
Nancy, a lot of fears there that the Marc outlined. Is that fair, therefore, that we see a 1.5% decline in the Dow today?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can expect August to be pretty choppy from here, Wilfred, and continue to be very sensitive to headlines and concerns. I mean, the 210 is still positive, I think, last I looked, and that's something that investors are going to be paying very close attention to as we try to figure out if recession is in the near term cards. So we'll see.
Victoria, in terms of the close today, down sharply, all the sectors lower, what's your take now as to whether or not there's some things to be dipping in and buying?
I think there's always places you can look for opportunity. We talked a little bit earlier when Bob Pisani was here, the top-down versus bottom-up. Use that bottom-up strategy that you have, the fundamentals. Look in areas where stocks have come down. See if there's some upside potential there going forward, and take advantage of that. With all the sectors down today, it's a pretty wide scope of where you can look.
Yeah, and Kevin, to that point, I know we were talking about it before the bell, this idea that maybe there's opportunity to nibble at some stocks right now. Where would you be nibbling, especially with the fact that the selling today was so broad-based?
Well, if you look at, remember, as we get to mid-August, we're only halfway through earnings season. And so even though some of the headline names aren't really coming out, you still have good names this week to talk about. Walmart, Nvidia, John Deere later in the week. Advanced Auto Parts coming up here pretty soon. So we have a lot of names that you can look at that can still, remember, we talk about the macro a lot, but when these earnings reports come out, that's the micro trade where that individual name will have its own story. So we like to look at the overall market. We also like to look at individual names as they come out with earnings.
Nancy, to what extent would another rate cut or two from the Fed put these current concerns to bed, or are they just not really the effective tool to fix some of the fears the market has?
I think when they're priced in as they, I'm sorry, did you go to me, Wilf? I apologize.
Yeah, go ahead, Nancy.
Okay, I think what's happened is that investors have priced in 2 more cuts this year. So if they don't get that, then we're going to see the volatile response that the algorithms will start in the morning, each all the way through. But I do think that the short end, the inversion at the short end is telling us the Fed needs to cut, whether I think they do or not. And so I think we have to watch and make sure that the 210, I mean, we can't make sure, but make sure that we don't see any fears of recession in the next 12 months. 18 months out, different story.